Yo, what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I got another special one for you. So, as of recording this, we have officially seen the Flame Dragon Behemoth, which, in more or less, is technically supposed to be the final boss, even though it's seeming like Magma Daemon is, in actuality, the final boss. So we'll see if some adjustments end up coming in there. However, all four kingdoms at the moment in this beta have now officially captured their Flame Dragon. So I thought it would be cool just to kind of go through each of the kingdoms and look at what the different damage outputs were, maybe about how many tanks they ran, see how many players participated. Also, it should be worth noting that all of the kingdoms were able to capture their flame dragons within a few days of each other, right? So a pretty close window after what it seemed to be most figuring out that Flame Dragon, obviously captured by Server 1's King Alliance first, that the Flame Dragon is probably just easier to do than the Magma Daemons, and it's probably a little bit easier to go ahead and get the additional buffs that you get from it as well. Again, even though it's just CP recovery speed, it's not as though they're getting any plus. They obviously get the nice +8 member limit increase, but just something additional that they can get because, again, CP recovery is really good in the game overall. So, without further ado, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell. Of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. And remember, new videos are coming out every day at 9 a.m. Eastern /14 UTC in-game time. Okay, with that out of the way, got my nice green smoothie here. It's a nice little detox drink, actually. It's fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do here is let's first show off here, and I actually have a little comparison spreadsheet off to the side too as well, so we might show that. But I wanted to show, first off, how many people did we get that participate? So we got 80, right? Here from King, you can see here top damage, Badger Knight, Dadbot, MCY, Stride, Rosalind, right? But top three here, right? 278, 674 to 264, 096. Then we look at the very bottom here, and I got to reposition. And this can kind of give you an idea of how many tanks were ran, right? So you could argue 4 to 5, right, give or take here as far as tanks, probably more so on the 4 side because of low output. And those are probably the amount of people that tanked, and then they probably carried just majority of mage archers ranged that were doing bulk of damage. So I just thought that was interesting to show off there for S1. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at S2, and thankfully I can just skadoosh right through with the scout accounts. So, and I think it's interesting to see, and I have some of the damage. I'll show you guys a spreadsheet probably here at the end, just so you can see some of the comparisons. Now that I'm thinking about it, calculating the damage that the top 3 outputters did would probably have been pretty cool. I just did top damage for number 1, at least on the sheet. So now we'll go ahead and zoom out here so we can take a look at server 2. Oops, hang on, where am I going? I went too far, didn't I? To the left. There we go. Got to remember my map positioning here. We'll zoom in, zoom out just a tad bit, and then there we go. So TA's Flame Dragon, you can see here, I believe it's on a 3-day cooldown. So server 1s you saw was, I think, 2 hours or some, right? TA's here at 1 day, 2 hours. So we'll take a look here. And we had, let's see, we had 79. So 79 participants. Looks like about 4 tanks there, but you can see here leaning right 349, 409, Da 336, 108, and then JZY or Jazzy 320, 813. So a little bit higher, right, than Kings there. And if we look at the very bottom, you could say 4 to 5, right, tanks that were ran here as far as infantry tanks in order to aggro and pull and sustain Dragon for that period. So again, something nice to see. Again, higher damage kind of at the peak and the top ends, and also only 79 participants, right, that they got by with. So, still good, even if they weren't able to get 80, but still, right, nice and something interesting. Okay. And just as a note too as well, none of the kingdoms thus far, just as far as a worthy note, have been able to capture Magma Daemon. I think S1's king has gotten the farthest at about 4.6, 4.7 mil damage done with 2 behemoths killed. So we'll see how that goes, if it's going to be able to finish it off. Yeah. I mean, I'll probably have to talk about that in another video, but as I think about it now, just grabbing, stat behemoth layers, even if it's just refocusing on those for now, and then just waiting for, a top rune to drop from Dragon, would probably be the next best bet there when it comes. Okay. So now we're going to go here. We're going to take a look at Forbiddens, or 4BDN, their Flame Dragon. And we can see here, top 3 participants, we got Life at 345, 394, King of Midas, 319, 125, Mad Dog, 306, 815. So again, right, some higher numbers than I know what we saw when we're just kind of comparing from King. And then it looks like, pretty much like solid 4 tanks. Maybe you could argue the 15s could be, but it seems to be at least at minimum, right, 4 tanks that they ended up running on Dragon. So yeah, so good stuff. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at, let's look at server 4, and then we can kind of do some brief comparisons here. Okay. How we get some more green stuff. So good. If anyone's curious, it's what's in here. It's spinach, right? So it's like 3 handfuls of spinach. You can use coconut milk or coconut water or regular water, filtered water. And then it's grounded flaxseed. And then you mix it with either like your own fruits, right? So you could do mangoes, pineapples. You can do mixed berries, maybe some oranges. You can do strawberries, bananas, apples, right? So usually you do kind of like 2 or 3 complementary fruits just to really add just a tiny little bit of flavor, right? You don't want to overpower it. But it's great, man. You drink 3 a day out of a full blender, right, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you can just eat like some meat or basically just non-carbs, right, as kind of just little snacks in between. It's great. Good stuff. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty, so here we go. We got Unts or Punts, as their new name will be for me, who captured their dragon. So here we go, right? 281, 488 for top, 267, 120 for number 2, and then we got Timmy at 266, 8 Timmy, 266, 489, right, for 3rd place. And let's see, we did 80 participants, and it looks like maybe 4 to 6 tanks here, possibly just from damage output. So, but again, good stuff that they were able to put out. And like I said, they're just, no one has really capped Magma yet. Like I said, closest was really just server 1. So, if anything, cool to see that at least all 4 of the Flame Dragons have been captured thus far, right? I think even, let's see, we got melee. Is that all Necro Giant? Let's just take a look here while we're hanging out. Range and defense. Range and defense could be a thing. Melee unit defense, that could be Legion defense. Here you go. Right? So it almost seems like what they should do is just grab a bunch of dire bears, right? And just boost range damage attack, or just any of those, right? Whether it's ranged unit attack, ranged unit defense, or even infantry defense, melee, like melee unit defense, right? So that way, or cav unit defense, right? So that way they can tank a little bit better. But to me, that actually seems like something that if you're going up against Magma Daemon, right, would be an ideal thing to do. And then obviously trying to grab runes, hitting any boost if you can, just to try and help the situation. So with that in mind, right, I also like, right, these should be switched. This should be epic. This should be legendary. All right, that's again, that's it for me, right? This was kind of a shorter one. I really just wanted to show off how each server has capped their dragon, show you guys some of the point differentials there, how many participants, what were the high damage, low damage, right? How many tanks did it look like they ran? Just because even if you're a server that's going to plan to do Fire Dragon in the future, just being able to have a few different pieces of resources that may be able to help outside of, watching the actual gameplay, I think that type of information can be beneficial in its own right. Of course, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Anything that stood out to you on any of the damage rankings from what we saw top to bottom, right? Let us know there. That's actually going to be it for me. So as always, until next time, I will catch you later.